You can build a parasocial relationship with your audience by educating them. But I'm bullish on taking it to the next level, starting that human connection and conversation. So why build a parasocial relationship when you can have a real relationship? So your community is where you take the people that already follow you and bring them together and bring yourself, whether it's a monthly call, a weekly call, so on and so forth.
This is the Entrepreneurs United podcast with your hosts, John St. Pierre and Rich Hoffman.
Entrepreneurs, welcome to today's podcast. We have Ben Albert with us. Ben is the CEO and founder of Grow Getters Only. I know a lot of you like to grow and like talking about growing, so that's going to be talked about today, and real business connections. So, Ben, welcome to the Entrepreneurs United podcast.
Excited to be here with you both. This is going to be fun.
Absolutely. Ben, you work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I know you have a community of entrepreneurs, and you work with entrepreneurs on growing, right? And growing their business and growing what they have in terms of their connections. Why is growth so important to you? And where did that come to be? Like one day you grow up and say, I want to work with people that want to grow. That's my focus. Where did that come around?
Yeah, it's the why questions are tough because it depends on how far we want to go back. But like I was literally the shortest kid in school, but I had a jersey for every single day of the week. I wanted to be the next Michael Jordan. Great basketball player, never hit a growth spurt. So I was literally small. I was very shy. And I came from a house where my dad had a bit of an alcohol and drug addiction problem, and my mom had a neurological disorder. So where did growth come from? It came from a lack, literally going way back to my childhood. But I found with YouTube University and books that we don't have to be defined by our past. And I started to develop that growth mindset myself, learn and grow and find mentors on podcasts and listen to books and YouTube. And fast forward to today, I say my one goal is really just to get the knowledge, the wisdom, the solutions from the people who have it to the people who need it. And I put myself in the needed category a lot of the time. I'm learning every single day. That's why Real Business Connections podcast is where I learn from mentors and really just document the story. But why? I think it's because I was lonely as a kid and wanted to be better. But nowadays, it's really just amazing to see through peer-to-peer support, through sharing connections, through sharing information. AI has made doing stuff easier, but it's made human connection a little more complicated. So through those conversations, the sharing of information and human connection, we can all grow together. We can all get better. And maybe there's a little chip on my shoulder. When people ask the why question, I'm like, do you really want me to go deep and answer this one? I think there's a chip on my shoulder, but it really feels good to help people.
Ben, you're certainly not the only one that has had a parent that's had an alcohol issue. And it sounds like you've done a lot of growing yourself on and probably healing when it comes with regard to that.
Yeah.
What has that journey been for you? And how have you come to the place where you are today, having accepted that that was part of your father?
Yeah. I mean, it's one day at a time. You can take things and play the victim and make excuses. And a lot of times you were a victim and you have an excuse. But like when I was younger, I'd walk in the door and I could tell through my dad's body language whether I needed to tiptoe around through the kitchen into my room or if I should go into the living room. I could just tell like, and nowadays it's a gift. It's like understanding body language without anyone teaching you. It's kind of more intuition. So I could look back and be like, wow, what a terrible scenario, but it taught me something. It taught me to perceive. It taught me empathy. You learn from these things. And at one point I was just lost. I mean, I was drinking myself. It's never just one moment, but there is a lot of moments like this where I roll out of bed, I'm staring at an empty bottle of whiskey, my eyes twitching. I'm looking in the mirror during my morning affirmations because someone said, if I visualize it and I affirm it, it'll come true. Not wrong, but action needs to be coupled with that visualization, that affirmation. So I'm looking myself in the mirror saying things like, I'm good enough now and I'm only getting better. I'm an open channel for creative ideas. I act as if I already have what I want. My eyes twitching and I'm hungover and I knew I was a liar. So really the process was disintegrating. What if you just drank less? What if you just connected? What if you did the negative stuff less? It's you drank less. You didn't look at porn. You didn't procrastinate. If you do those things less, it opens up the capacity to do the good things more. It's like, oh, I'm so busy. Well, you just remove the bad stuff and you replace it with the good stuff. Now I'm simplifying literally a couple decades, but it was just trying everything and failing and realizing it wasn't that I needed to try a new hack. It's I actually had to get rid of the stuff that was making me bitter in order to be better. And I'm still not perfect. I'm learning every single day, but it's hard to answer that question without giving a whole life story because I don't think there is an end destination. You're constantly evolving, and each day I learn something new, and that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. I know we kind of got into my story here, but the beauty of entrepreneurship is you have an opportunity to learn something new every single day, and that's such a gift.
Who was the central figure or the central source of information or inspiration for you to then minimize the things that weren't serving you to create room to grow in the things that would?
Wow, to pick one person's tough.
Or was it a book, or was it a group, or was it is there a person, or is there a source of information that was the transitional or foundational thing for you?
There's been a bunch, but I'll shout out a YouTube channel called Charisma on Command. I think it's been around at least a decade now. Charisma on Command. Charlie Hooper is one of the co-founders. He bought full equity in the business, so he's still running the channel as the main founder. He has a podcast, Dropping In Podcast. I'm part of his Patreon, where we get like a private podcast. The reason I shout him out is 8 years ago when he was putting out videos like, so I'm 34, so I was in my mid 20s when he was putting out videos like how to never run out of things to say or how to light up a room. I needed that in my mid 20s because I was single, I was just out of college, I didn't have a career, and I needed that like kind of masculine tactical stuff. But as he's evolved, he now talks about things far beyond just how to not run out of things to say. He talks about um, the emotional stuff. He talks about empathy, and he's very honest about his journey in his videos. And I use him as an example because as a creator, you start somewhere. As an entrepreneur, you start somewhere, but you grow and you evolve and your messaging changes and maybe it goes a little less tactical and it gets more far reaching, a little more spiritual. And ideally, as you change, as your business changes, so does your customers, so does your audience. So he's an example of someone who didn't just do the same script for 10 years straight. He evolved, and people like me, one of his audience members, evolved with him. And the last thing with AI and with changing environments, I don't want to be the guy that's been doing the same things for 10 years straight. Because unfortunately, I know some people say, hey, you got to get back to the basics. I agree. I find it very boring. As I grow, as I evolve as an entrepreneur, as a podcaster, as a community builder, if my community doesn't evolve with me, I'm doing something wrong. So he's an example. You can check out Charisma on Command. No affiliate code or anything here, of a channel that started in one place. And then as you watch the videos get newer and newer, it's a completely different channel.
Grow Getters Only. You just talked about community. Tell me about the community of Grow Getters Only and why does it exist? What is unique about it?
Well, collective impact. The what's unique about it question is always interesting because I don't think it's the most unique. There's other groups out there. It's less about having the most unique group. It's more about finding peer to peer support within that group. So there's a lot of other good ones out there, but it's growth centered entrepreneurs, and it's in the name Grow Getter, growth minded, growth driven go getters. You can run really, really fast, but if you're running in the wrong direction, it's good exercise, but you have to turn around and turn back. So the idea is that we all grow together. You have a peer support group so we can move in the right direction. I think one thing that's really unique about it is the crazy amount of content we put out for our community members. Multiple events there's an inner circle that meets weekly, multiple events per month, mostly free. I am really bullish on community nowadays as an entrepreneur. I've done it. So many people have done it. You get on social media, you post into the ether and just hope the algorithm shows you to millions of people. Um, it was draining me. So I'm really bullish on building an email list and building a community. And I think a unique part of that community is it's not necessarily meant to be a sales tool. It's genuinely like me showing up and trying to build relationships. Because I think in business, as AI democratizes our ability to use tools, building a true relationship with your audience, with your buyer, with your listeners, um, will never go away, the human side of things. So it's a little arrogant for me to say what's unique about it, Ben's part of it, but I think the members bring their own feel to the group.
Ben, I want to double click on this just a little bit.
Mhm.
So, obviously, you have a marketing background, correct?
Yes.
And you just hit on a couple of things, which is, I mean, I know so many companies right now that are just trying to figure out what's our social ad strategy? What's our Google ad strategy? What are we doing to try and get out there? And what you're bringing up, I think, is a pretty interesting point, which is go build your community.
Yeah.
Go build your community. Stop trying to be everything to everybody and reaching out there and hitting everybody up. So if you were, and you are, talking directly to entrepreneurs and say, here, from a marketing growing perspective, here are the things you should be really focused on in 2026 to help you and your business grow from a sales and marketing front. I
Mm.
heard email list and community were two things that just kind of rolled off. Like, you got to be focused on these two areas.
Yep.
Um, can you complement that as well? Like, what else would you add to that, or what else would you emphasize?
It's everyone saying the opposite, but long form content.
Mm.
Everyone's saying post 3 shorts a day, get on TikTok. It's not bad advice. It's just really exhausting and really expensive a lot of the time as well. AI makes it cheap that I could, take a video and create a bunch of shorts, but they're usually not very good. It's hard to know what's going to hit. Long form, expert driven content where you position yourself as an expert. You can turn that content into short form, but let's say you have long form content and your CTA is just your community. So long form content that goes into the community, that goes into the email list. My email list is small. I actually got rid of 2/3 of it because most people weren't inactive. And I'm actually posting a daily email. I'm just sharing what I'm doing. I'm not guaranteeing this is exactly how you should do. I would have to look at the inside of a business. But I call it Ben's Bites, and it's one short, literally a 15-second read email per day. Because instead of posting that content on social, I'm posting that content for my community members via email. So long form content, because an educated buyer, a smart buyer is a better chance to spend money with you. You're positioning yourself as an expert. I'm doing a lot of long form interviews, so I get some of the social proof of my guests. I don't always have to be the expert, but I know the guy. In my community, we do like ask me anything trainings with experts. So there's a few things going on here. Long-term content for an educated buyer, bringing other people on to be part of that content so you can share audiences, and then simmering down to the smallest, most dedicated people and building a relationship with them. Now, it's going to depend on what your business is. But like I do some services for podcasters, we do marketing for thought leaders. It's very high ticket. So I'm building a community of people that aren't buying my high ticket stuff, but I build trust with them in case they know someone who will. It's almost like sponsoring the little guy until they get to the point where they're the big guy and then they spend more money with you. But
Yeah.
it's value driven, long form content, building a community with it. And I used to do a ton of short form repurposing from the long form. I just got lazy and didn't think it was actually worth my time anymore. Because as I said, I'm bullish currently on going multiple levels deep with the right people rather than going one level deep with everyone. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So it's I'm like 25% Greek. So it's my Greek in me. I like to say Opa, and Opa's other people's audiences. And the beauty about school currently is when Alex Hermosi, I don't know if you guys or the listeners know Alex, when he bought a share to be a partner in that company, and when he promoted it and he had like a 2 million book sale launch, where like part of buying his book at a, I missed the launch, so I'm butchering it. Someone who knows Alex will correct us below, but he basically, if you bought a certain amount of bucks, you got free 90 days in school. Like having a big name promote this platform has drawn an insane amount of audience to the platform. And then once you're on the platform, there's discovery where they can find you organically just on the platform. But if you guys, if John and Rich have a school account and I have a school account, you've already have an account with your credit card signed up into that account. It's easier to convert someone who's already on a platform. So other people's audiences. Going on school has an opportunity to do that. One thing, and if anyone has a school community, I like to do, I'm all about collaboration, not competition. I like to do collaborative events with other school owners where we can share audiences, everyone networks, everyone meets. And then as we share audiences, we grow together. We all grow together in doing so. So it's a hub that a great marketer with a great team is promoting and drawing organic traffic to. So you've got other people's audiences, you've got traffic. You can partner with other owners to build your communities. And it's just a good next step. We talked on long form content. If you were to have a YouTube channel, if you were to put out content, it's just a simple URL to get to know me and people like yourself more. Join this link. So it's a easy next step that in my case it actually was free. Now it's currently $9, but if anyone wants a free pass, just send me a message and say, "Hey, I don't have the $9 a month," and I'll just grandfather you in for free. But it's a really cheap opportunity for any business owner to bring their people to one spot, and the magic happens once the right people get in the right room. Insane. Yeah. 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 It's a toughie because I literally, at the time we're recording it, I literally just got back from a podcasting conference 2 days ago, Podfest in Orlando, Florida, and it was one of the best weeks of my life. So the in person's irreplaceable. Someone probably needs to force me to do it. The event planning end of things is really complicated. Like, I'd love to do in person events. I haven't yet because there's a lot of planning, but I'm very bullish on those being super important with the AI. With the way I explain it is, on OnlyFans is a great example. Unfortunately, um, a lot of people are building parasocial relationships with their audience. Now, to simplify for anyone who hasn't heard that term, it's basically a one-sided relationship where they know everything about you and you know nothing about them. The Swifties are a simple example. Taylor Swift has a parasocial relationship with millions of people out there. OnlyFans is tough because it's lonely guys mostly. It's every gender, but lonely guys messaging a girl who's actually outsourcing her messages to some Filipinian man and thinking this sense. it's the wild, wild west. It's getting dystopian. People are lonely. So long form content is an example. You have a YouTube channel, you put out a 90-minute episode. You can build a parasocial relationship with your audience by educating them. But I'm bullish on taking it to the next level, starting that human connection and conversation. So why build a parasocial relationship when you can have a real relationship? So your community is where you take the people that already follow you and bring them together and bring yourself, whether it's a monthly call, a weekly call, so on and so forth. You made a really good point in your question, though. In person is better. The only issue with in person is people live everywhere. The benefit of virtual is you can have people in Pakistan, India, Nigeria, Canada, USA, and they can all come together. So there's benefits of both. And if anyone's listening and knows how to run in-person events, pitch me because I'm not opposed. Just a lot of work. It's easy to meet on Zoom. We're meeting on Squadcast. It's easy peasy.
From looking at your website, you meet with your community, I believe it's Tuesdays at noon Eastern. And you've got multiple things listed on there that you'll do. You do workshops. That part, I go, okay, I know what a workshop is. Coached by Collective, is that somebody comes and they have an issue and multiple people weigh in on what they could do about that issue? Is that what Coached by Collective is?
Yeah. So you found growgettersonly.com, which is advertising the inner circle itself. This feels like a commercial. It's not meant to be. weallgrowtogether.com is where the greater community lives. Used to be free. If you want it for free, just DM me. I'll make it free. But so I have the way the business model is set up, just for business owners to kind of get a gist of it, is I have a $9 a month tier. I have a $75 a month tier, which is the inner circle. And then I have a more expensive tier that involves coaching from me as well. So you're looking at the inner circle. So the inner circle meets weekly at $75 a month or annual. And then within the community for $9, there's another 2 to 4 random events, networking, introduction events, different workshops popping up. The inner circle, the way I built it to basically tackle all of what an entrepreneur needs for education, where some calls are a ask me anything with a world-class mentor. Another call is networking and accountability, setting up 30-day goals. The third call is hot seat coaching, where ultimately someone brings a question to the group and the group gets to serve as their board of directors. And the last call, Coached by Collective, is actually named wrong because it kind of sounds like the hot seat coaching, but that's where a member of the group gets to be the mentor. So there's world-class mentors, there's accountability and networking, there's hot seat coaching where you get to use the group as your board of directors, and then there's calls once a month where you get to be the mentor. You can take people through your process. People can understand what you do. You get to educate. So you get to learn, you get to teach, you get to network. And I don't want to nerd out too much with the science, but the idea is to give everyone a little bit of something. And since it's every Tuesday, if you don't want to network, you don't show up. If you just want to go to the mentor sessions, you just go to the mentor sessions. And I hope this isn't to talk about me. It's more to be descriptive, not prescriptive. I'm not telling anyone this is the way to do it. It works for me, but I'm describing how I do it so an entrepreneur can apply it to their business. And I hope it's helpful for that reason.
So it sounds like that's a repeating cycle. Week 1, ask me anything from a world-class mentor. Week 2 is networking and accountability. Week 3, hot seat coaching. You get to bring an issue and everybody works on it. And then week 4 is Coached by Collective, which is kind of a member of the inner circle becomes the mentor. And what do they do? Do they do a form of ask me anything, or are they showcasing their business, or what do they do?
Yeah, and well said. And we got the order wrong, but you got the sections right, which is perfect. I put them in the wrong order, so that's not your fault. That's exactly what it is. They can do an Ask Me Anything. They can do a workshop. A lot of these business owners are not keynote speakers yet, but maybe they do a webinar. They're growing. They're speaking. It's an opportunity where in a safe space they can play around and put on a workshop, put on a keynote, get feedback from the group. Um, and it's a great way to just understand who's in the group better. Because when I learn from Rich for 45 minutes straight, the moment I know what Rich does and who Rich wants to connect with, it's way easier because I've seen him in action. So it's an opportunity for them to teach and for everyone else to learn from the teacher. Hmm. Yeah, so I'm gonna make this so simple. We could write a for dummies book, and I think if it's simple, the simplest stuff can be the brightest stuff. So all you have to do is get a pen and paper, and you have three columns: plus, minus, equals. Plus, minus, equals. Who's your plus? Pluses are mentors. They're coaches. They're consultants. They're other people in your industry that you look up to. So let's say you're a roofing company and you're small. You can look for what roofing companies are doing it right. How do they treat their people? What materials do they use? Maybe you hire them. Maybe you listen to a podcast. Maybe you watch YouTube. But you're looking at those pluses are your mentors. Your minus is your mentees or your audience, your clients, the people that you are mentoring, the people that you are helping, the people that need your service. And the equals is the peer to peer support, other roofers, other industry professionals, other entrepreneurs. And the key here is if you can learn from mentors, or even better, find ways to showcase mentors. Let's say I don't have a big, I'm not a roofing expert, so not the best example, but I don't have a big audience yet. I could still put out posts what I learned from ABC Roofing and talk about what they taught you and how you apply it to your business. The mentorship provides social proof for you. It shows you know what you're talking about. That's part of why you guys do a podcast and I do a podcast. You get other people's audience, you get social proof. So I know who my mentors are, but I always think, how can I collaborate with them? How can I turn them from mentors into peers? Now, your audience, they're the people buying from you. So get really clear on who exactly they are in all these categories. But who exactly are they? Where are they in life? Where are they located? Why do they need your service? How can you help them? And speak directly to them. They are your audience. Speak directly to them. And the peers is where I think a lot of us miss, especially if we're entrepreneurs. Who are the other roofers that want to not compete but collaborate? Maybe they're not in the same region as you, so you can start up a peer group. You can meet in person. Let's say you don't want people that are competition. You have a local entrepreneurship group. You have a local BNI. You have a local networking group. Find your peers because your peers don't always spend money on you, but they know people that will. So your peers become your best referral partners. The mentors is where you learn and get social proof. The mentees is where you sell stuff, deliver services, build community of people that trust you. The peers are where you find like-minded people and you actually develop great referral partnerships, especially if they're in industry. If I'm a roofer that doesn't do solar, honestly, I'm not a great I take back I'm not a great entrepreneur, but if I'm a roofer, I am also a solar company. And if not, I know one because I know that the moment that roof is done, it could have solar panels on it, vice versa. So find those peer to peer support as well. This might seem super simple. Most entrepreneurs don't do it. And when you have clarity on exactly what those three columns look like, all your decisions afterwards come easily. You bet. Yeah, 100%. So wherever you first off leave a review here. That is number one. Click 5 stars, click like, leave a review. If there's a way you can show love on whatever you're watching or listening, do that now. You can find my podcast, Real Business Connections, wherever you found this. And if you want to join a community of other growth minded entrepreneurs, that's weallgrowtogether.com. Grow Getters Only is the inner circle, but start at weallgrowtogether.com. And if for some reason, $9 a month, just say you came from Entrepreneurs United. I will sponsor you. I don't want to turn anyone away, but it's at weallgrowtogether.com.
Stay tuned as John and Rich unpack today's conversation.
John, I love those three, the plus, minus, and equals. And the way it's set up with the plus and minus and the equals is almost kind of hierarchically, I guess, is how I would remember it. The plus is the mentors, the people kind of ahead of you. I don't love calling it the minus, but those are the people who you are leading yourself, the mentees and the audience. And then the equals being the people who are kind of equal to you in terms of how they support others and what their craft is or knowledge level, that type of stuff. One of the things he said was the wanting to turn mentors into peers. I thought that was really powerful. And I think back to, for example, Beth Adams, who I think you know, she was a mentor of mine. She was the one that created some of the very competency models that you and I were born on in College Pro. She created a bunch of those with others. She's not the only creator. But today I feel like she's a peer. Yeah. She and I talk every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks or so. And we just talk about life. And I share things and she shares things and about our kids, about work, about all that stuff. And then I think the other side of this, that there are people you and I are leading who would like to be our peer. And there are people who I have been in a leadership seat with before in the past who I would absolutely consider them peers. So it's not just the getting mentors and making mentors peers, but I also think there's this aspect of looking at kind of mentees and working with them as peers also. That's equally important.
Yeah, I love that, Rich. And I think the one thing that he said that I really connect to, and I think the reason why he brought up that model of the plus, minus, and equals, is there are a lot of people going at it alone. There are a lot of people that are going at this without coaches or consultants. And I think we've learned, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs have learned, that you can either go the slow way or you can go the fast way. You can either learn what you got to learn to get things improved and on the right track, or you can keep fighting it alone. And if you just keep fighting it alone, fighting it alone, you're wasting time. Things are moving too fast. Technology is moving so fast. Business is moving so fast. You'll lose to your competition if you don't level up in the areas you need to level up. And there's a lot of people out there to help support you. And it could be competitors that are in different markets. It could be going to the association. It dawned on me when he said he went to PodFest in Orlando. I'm like, Rich, why aren't we going to PodFest in Orlando?
I wrote that down.
Why don't we go collaborate with other people, figure out what we should be doing better to augment the experience for our guests? Like, we're not doing this plus, minus, and equals for this podcast. And so it kind of really, that model did dawn on me that where we are doing things either professionally or personally, we can level up our game real fast by the plus, minus, and equals.
And the idea of virtual events, potentially with our podcast guests who might do a Ask Me Anything.
Yeah.
We've never talked about that. That's never been, but these are things that talking to somebody like Ben, like that come online, that's like, oh, that's interesting. That's an option. And I love his breakdown. I know he said he described it in the wrong order, but the breakdown of the 4 different things he does with the inner circle. I think there are a lot of people, me included, who get together with peers because they're like-minded people. And for example, I have a group of myself plus 3 other people that we talk every probably 3 weeks or so. And we just know there's value. Somebody's going to say something smart that we'll learn from, and there's camaraderie and support. But to have these as options, the Ask Me Anything, the, hey, we should do some accountability in what we're doing here, the Coached by the Collective, the hot seat coaching. Like those are cool options that it sounds like Ben has really unlocked the value of in his community. That if somebody's not going to be part of Ben's community, they may be able to use some of those very options with a small group of people, a mini community of their own.
Yep, absolutely. And I think I got the circles that he has, maybe the circular component, which is long form content, build a community, build your email list, and make sure your email list that you're communicating to is not watered down by people who are just going to spam and not even paying attention. Shut it down to the list of people that you're engaging with, right? I really like that idea that way too many people are trying to do marketing to the masses when all they got to do is focus on their small community. Way too many people are focused on, well, how many followers do you have and how many likes do you have and how many people are in your email list and how many people in this and that. And the reality is it's quality over quantity. That's one thing Ben brought up over and over and over again. It's a lot more fulfilling to have a very strong quality community than it is to have just quantity and numbers and these parasocial relationships. I'd actually never heard of parasocial relationships. I don't know if you had or not, but it was the first time I heard that kind of term. And it's true. Like, I want deep connection with who I'm working with. I want more peers to work with, not necessarily a different kind of relationship. So the quality of who you work with and are communicating with is really, really important. I thought that was a really cool component.
All right, I got a pop quiz for you.
Yeah.
Ben said he was Greek, and he said Opa. And often in the Greek community, when you hear Opa, when do you hear that? This is your pop quiz. When do you hear that?
Seconds before you smash a plate on the ground.
I don't know about that. I know there's at a restaurant. What food would you be getting served when they yell "Opa"?
Oh, I don't know.
Saganagi.
Ah,
Flaming cheese is delicious. Sometime if you can go get Saganagi at a Greek restaurant, they're going to yell "Opa" when they light the cheese on fire, and it's the most amazing stuff. So it's funny when he says Opa, and that was other people's audience.
Yep.
And then he connected that with, hey, if you're a roofer, you don't do solar. You should know somebody who does solar.
Yep.
You guys are working in each other's audiences.
Yep.
So in every business, the entrepreneur should be looking for, how do you tap into Opa, other people's audiences that have this synergistic opportunity for that consumer?
Yeah, love that, Rich. And so to that note, go listen to Ben's podcast, right? Because there's Opa, other people's audience. Go share that audience with him. Go listen to his podcast. Go grow getters only. And also, as he said, please leave us a review. Please do subscribe to our channel. Leave 5 stars if you can. It helps us get guests like Ben on this podcast. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next week on the Entrepreneurs United podcast.